The grand chamber of the Galactic Council stretched wide with walls made of crystal that caught light from distant stars. Ambassador Minji stood at the center podium, her heart beating fast as she looked at the alien representatives from 200 different worlds. Honored council members, Minji said clearly, humanity has been a junior member for 15 years. We have helped with science, protected trade routes, and kept every promise. Today we ask to become full members of this council. The reptilian Vraxians moved in their tall seats, their scales shining under the lights. The insect-like Chithin made clicking sounds with their mouths. The crystal beings called Lumini glowed with soft colors as they communicated silently among themselves. High Counselor Vrax, the Vraxian leader, tilted his large head down toward her. We will think about your request, Ambassador. The council will decide soon. Minji bowed and walked away from the podium. Her assistant Taemin walked beside her through the curved hallways. That went well, Taemin whispered. Too well, Minji answered, feeling worried. They did not ask any hard questions. Something feels wrong. Far across the galaxy, Admiral Juno stood on the bridge of Earth's biggest warship. He watched his beautiful blue and green planet spin slowly below him. Mars glowed red in the distance with 2 billion people living on it. The moon sparkled with cities where 5 billion humans made their homes. Admiral, we are seeing strange readings at the edge of our solar system, Commander Sora said from her station. What kind of readings? Thousands of ships, sir. They look like council vessels. Juno's stomach tightened. Contact them. Ask who they are and why they are here. The aliens did not answer with words. They answered with weapons. 50,000 warships suddenly appeared around Earth's solar system in perfect attack formation. The friendly symbols on their ships were lies. Their weapons began firing immediately. Everyone to battle stations. Juno shouted through the communication system. We are under attack. This is real. The defense platforms around Earth died first. Massive energy beams destroyed them in seconds, turning metal and technology into dust. Earth's defense fleet had 500 ships. They rushed forward to fight the invaders. But 500 against 50,000 was not a fair fight. Could never be enough. Target their command ships. Juno ordered as he watched dozens of human ships disappear from his screens. All civilian ships, run. Get away from Earth. The battle lasted 6 terrible hours. Human pilots fought bravely. Some crashed their damaged ships into enemy vessels. Others flew suicide missions against the big alien warships, buying time for evacuation shuttles carrying families and children. Mars died first. The Chithin fleet surrounded the red planet and bombed it from space. Juno watched helplessly as cities where his family lived vanished under nuclear fire. 2 billion people burned. Sir, Luna Base is reporting, Sora's voice broke. The display showed the moon's surface being carved apart by continuous beam weapons. 5 billion people lived on the moon. Past tense. They were all dying right now. Admiral, we have a transmission from Ambassador Minji at Apex Prime, the communications officer announced. Minji's face appeared on screen. Tears ran down her cheeks but her eyes were steady. Behind her stood armed Vraxian guards. Juno, she said softly, it was a trap. The council planned this attack 3 months ago. They called it a preemptive containment action. They were planning to kill us while we were negotiating peace with them. Minji, I am being held prisoner. Most of our people here are. They are going to execute us and call us war criminals. Juno, they are going to kill everyone on Earth. The transmission ended suddenly. Juno stood frozen, watching Earth's orbital stations explode one by one. The planet's surface was being bombed now. They were killing everyone systematically, efficiently. Sir, we have lost 70% of our fleet, Sora reported, her voice empty of emotion. Earth Command is destroyed. Mars Command is gone. We cannot win this battle. Then we do not try to win, Juno said quietly. We survive. All remaining ships run away. Silent running mode. Go to Rendezvous Omega in the outer system. Sir, that means abandoning Earth. It means living to fight another day, Commander. We cannot save Earth today. Juno's hands gripped his chair hard enough to hurt. But we will make them pay for this. Every single one of them will pay. The warship and 47 other surviving vessels activated their stealth systems and disappeared into the darkness, fleeing toward the outer edges of the solar system as Earth burned behind them. On Apex Prime, Minji sat alone in a prison cell, listening to gunshots in the courtyard below as the council executed human diplomats one by one. She touched a small data chip hidden in her jacket. Before her arrest, she had copied proof of the council's planned genocide. In the darkness beyond Neptune, Admiral Juno gathered the survivors. 48 ships. 18,000 people. And hidden deep space stations that the Council knew nothing about. The Council thinks they have won, Juno told his people over the communication system. They think we are broken. They are wrong. We will show them what happens when you try to kill humanity and fail. 14 billion humans had died in 6 hours. The survivors would make sure the galaxy never forgot what the Council had done. And more importantly, they would make sure it never happened again. The galaxy thought humanity was finished. They would soon learn the truth. 3 months passed since the attack. The Galactic Council celebrated their victory. They believed humanity was broken, scattered, and dying. Council members divided Earth's abandoned resources among themselves like prizes. The Vraxians took the mining rights. The Chiefin claimed the agricultural technology. The Lumini absorbed the scientific data. In the Council chambers on Apex Prime, they drank and celebrated. They had eliminated the threat before it could grow too strong. They felt proud of their decision. They were very, very wrong. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, hidden among ice and rocks at the edge of the solar system, Admiral Juno stood before his command staff. Behind him floated holographic images of 37 secret installations that the Council knew nothing about. Status report, Juno said calmly. Commander Sora stepped forward. All hidden bases are operational. The shipyards in the Horsehead Nebula are building new vessels. Our research station near the black hole in Cygnus has completed the quantum disruption weapon. Total military personnel in hiding, 200,000 soldiers. Food supplies, 3 years. Weapons, enough to fight a long war. Juno nodded slowly. And Protocol Fenrir? Science Officer Hyan pulled up new screens. All systems activated, sir. The AI advisors are online and calculating targets. We have identified key Council infrastructure across 70 systems. We are ready to begin operations. For 15 years, while serving on the Council, humanity had been preparing. They built secret bases in hidden places. They developed weapons they never showed to the aliens. They trained soldiers in ways the Council never knew about. Every handshake with Council members had been accompanied by a backup plan, just in case they were betrayed. That day had come. Begin Phase 1, Juno ordered. But remember the rules. We are not murderers. We target military and infrastructure only. No civilian casualties unless absolutely necessary. We show them we are better than they are. Sir, Hyan asked carefully, what about mercy? Juno's eyes were cold. They killed 14 billion civilians. We will destroy their ability to ever do it again. That is mercy enough. The first strike happened in the Helix Nebula. A Vraxian mining operation with 30,000 workers suddenly went silent. When Council ships arrived to investigate, they found something terrifying. All the ships were still there, floating in perfect condition. All the equipment worked fine. But every single Vraxian was gone. Not dead. Just gone. Vanished without a trace. No bodies. No signs of struggle. Just empty ships and a single message written in Vraxian language on every computer screen. You started this. Fear spread through the Vraxian military command. The second strike hit the Chiefin agricultural worlds 2 weeks later. 15 planets that grew food for billions of Chiefin suddenly experienced complete technological failure. Every computer stopped working. Every machine turned off. Every electronic device became useless junk. The Chiefin were not harmed, but without technology their food production collapsed. Billions would face starvation unless the systems could be restored. Human technical experts sent one message to the Chiefin government: fix your mess with the Council and we will restore your systems. Continue the genocide and your people starve. The Council called an emergency meeting. High Counselor Vrax stood before the assembly, his scales pale with worry. We face an unknown enemy using tactics we have never encountered, Vrax announced. The humans should be extinct. How are they doing this? A Lumini representative pulsed with worried colors. We analyzed their attack patterns. This is not random. They are using asymmetric warfare, guerrilla tactics, and psychological operations. They are not trying to defeat us in open battle. They are trying to break our will to fight. Then we must find them and destroy them completely, a Chiefin commander clicked angrily. With what? Another council member asked. They attack us from nowhere. They are invisible until they strike. They know our systems better than we do. It is like they planned for this war before it even started. The horrible truth began to sink in. Humanity had been preparing for betrayal the entire time they were council members. On Earth's ruined surface, among the rubble of destroyed cities, small groups of human survivors received encrypted messages from Admiral Juno. Help was coming. Humanity was not dead. The fight was just beginning. In her prison cell on Apex Prime, Ambassador Minji received a visitor. A young Lumini guard named Crystalise approached her bars, pulsing with nervous colors. Ambassador, Crystalise communicated through a translator, some of us did not want this. Some of us voted against the attack. We are not all monsters. Minji looked at the alien carefully. Then help me escape. Help me show the galaxy the truth about what the council did. Crystalise hesitated, then made a decision. Tomorrow night. Be ready. Across the galaxy, on 200 council worlds, people began receiving broadcasts. They showed footage of the attack on Earth. They showed the council's secret meetings where they planned the genocide. They showed human children dying, cities burning, billions of innocent people murdered. The broadcasts could not be stopped or traced. They appeared on every screen, every device, every communication system simultaneously. The message was clear. The council committed genocide. Humanity will have justice. Public opinion began to shift. Smaller council races started questioning whether they wanted to be part of this war. 3 minor civilizations withdrew their ships from council space, refusing to participate in hunting down human survivors. Admiral Juno watched the reports from his command ship. His face showed no emotion, but inside he felt grim satisfaction. Phase 1 is complete, he told his staff. The council is confused and frightened. Their unity is cracking. Now we move to Phase 2. What is Phase 2, sir? Sora asked. Juno's smile was cold and hard. We show them that fear was justified. We hit them where it hurts. We take away their feeling of safety. We make them understand that they are not the hunters anymore. In the darkness of space, 48 human warships began moving toward their next targets. Behind them, hidden shipyards worked day and night building more vessels. The council had awakened something they did not understand. Humanity was not just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting to make sure no species would ever attempt genocide again. And they would not stop until that lesson was carved into the memory of every civilization in the galaxy. The awakening had begun. 6 months after the betrayal, the galaxy was no longer the safe, orderly place the council had controlled for centuries. Trade routes sat empty because merchants feared traveling through space. Council fleets patrolled nervously, jumping at every sensor reading. Fear had become the new currency of the galaxy. Commander Sora led a team of 12 human soldiers through the ventilation shafts of a Vraxian military shipyard. They moved in complete silence, their black suits absorbing all light. Each soldier had been enhanced with experimental technology, their bodies modified to be faster, stronger, and more efficient than any normal human. Target is 200 meters ahead, Sora whispered into her helmet communicator. 3 guards at the main reactor. They did not kill the guards. Instead, they used knockout gas that would leave them unconscious for 6 hours. When the guards woke up, they would find the entire shipyard's computer system corrupted beyond repair. 5 years of ship construction data, gone. 12 capital ships under construction, sabotaged in ways that would take months to discover. By the time the Vraxians realized what happened, Sora and her team were already light years away. This scene repeated across 47 council systems. Human strike teams appeared from nowhere, struck with precision and vanished like ghosts. They did not fight fleet battles because they could not win fleet battles. Instead, they made the council's superior numbers meaningless. On the Chithin agricultural world of Nest 7, the crops began dying. Not from fire or poison, but from a carefully engineered disease that only affected Chithin food plants. No Chithin people were harmed. No buildings were damaged. But without food, billions would starve within months. The Chithin Central Hive received a message. Return Earth's survivors to their homeworld. Begin paying reparations. Or watch your people slowly starve. You have 30 days to decide. The Chithin leadership faced an impossible choice. Their pride demanded they refuse. Their people's empty stomachs demanded they surrender. The Lumini faced a different kind of attack. They prided themselves on being the most logical, most philosophical species in the galaxy. They believed they made decisions based on pure reason. Ambassador Minji, who had escaped her prison with help from sympathetic Lumini, now broadcasted the truth across every Lumini world. She showed them recordings of the council meetings where genocide was planned. She showed them the logical fallacies in their reasoning. She proved that their decision to attack Earth was based not on logic, but on fear and prejudice. The Lumini civilization fractured. Half believed the council had acted correctly. Half were horrified by what they had done. Brother turned against brother. Logic battled logic. Their unity, their greatest strength, became their greatest weakness. On Vraxia Prime, the military high command gathered for an emergency strategy meeting in their most secure bunker, 3 kilometers underground. 27 generals and admirals sat around a circular table, discussing how to eliminate the human threat. They never finished their meeting. Human agents had infiltrated the bunker's systems weeks earlier. At precisely midnight, every door locked. Every communication system shut down. The lights went out. And a single message appeared on the emergency screens: "You are already dead. We are letting you live. Remember this mercy." When the doors unlocked 6 hours later, all 27 military leaders were found unconscious but alive, sedated by gas pumped through the ventilation. They had been completely helpless for 6 hours. The humans could have killed them all. The psychological impact was devastating. If humanity could reach the Vraxian military command in their most secure location, they could reach anyone, anywhere. Admiral Juno watched the reports from his hidden command ship with satisfaction. Status of Council fleet deployments? Hyan pulled up tactical displays. They have deployed 200,000 ships to hunt our bases. But we keep moving. They are chasing shadows while we strike their infrastructure. Casualties on our side? 43 soldiers killed in action over 6 months. We have destroyed or disabled over 3,000 Council vessels, 72 military installations, and compromised 15% of their total infrastructure. The exchange ratio is highly favorable. Juno nodded, but his expression remained grim. And civilian casualties? On our side, the Council continues bombardment of Earth's surface. Another 200 million dead from starvation and exposure. On their side, our operations have caused minimal civilian deaths. Mostly accidental or collateral damage. Keep it that way, Juno ordered. We are not them. We do not murder civilians deliberately. Across the galaxy, smaller Council races began making secret contacts with human representatives. They wanted to negotiate separate peace treaties. They no longer believed the Council could protect them. They no longer wanted to fight a war that seemed unwinnable. The Mantis Collective, a minor race of 6 billion people, became the first to publicly withdraw from the Council. Their representative gave a speech that was broadcast across the galaxy. We were told humanity was dangerous and aggressive. But in 6 months of war, not one Mantis citizen has been harmed by human action. Meanwhile, the Council drafted our young people to fight a war we never wanted. The Council lied to us about why this war started. We will not participate in genocide. 3 more races followed within a week. The Council's authority was crumbling. What had started as a quick, clean elimination of a potential threat had become a nightmare. The humans were everywhere and nowhere. They struck with precision that seemed impossible. They knew things they should not know. They had technology that should not exist. High Counselor Vrax stood before the remaining Council members, his voice shaking with barely controlled rage. How are they doing this? How can a nearly extinct species be winning a war against the entire galaxy? A Lumini scientist pulsed with resigned colors. Because we taught them everything we know, then tried to kill them. They learned from us, then innovated beyond us. We created our own worst enemy. In her small ship traveling between safe houses, Ambassador Minji continued broadcasting the truth. She had become the voice of human resistance, showing the galaxy that humanity fought not for conquest but for justice. We do not want your worlds, she said in her latest broadcast. We do not want your resources. We want only what was stolen from us. Justice for 14 billion murdered people. And we want to ensure this never happens to any species again. Admiral Juno prepared for the next phase. The Council was weakened, frightened, and divided. But they were not defeated. It was time to show them what true fear meant. 1 year after the betrayal, Admiral Juno stood before a holographic display showing 3 worlds. Vraxia Prime, the Vraxian homeworld with 12 billion people. Chithin Central Hive, where 8 billion Chithin lived. Lumini Capital, home to the oldest civilization in the galaxy. These 3 worlds represented the heart of the Council's power. Operation Ragnarok begins in 6 hours, Juno announced to his command staff. Are all teams in position? Commander Sora nodded. Strike Team Alpha is in orbit around Vraxia Prime. Team Beta has infiltrated Chithin space. Team Gamma is approaching Lumini Capital. All systems ready, sir. Remember, Juno said firmly, we are not there to kill. We are there to prove a point. No civilian casualties. We show them they are vulnerable, then we leave. Hyan looked worried. Sir, if anything goes wrong, we could start a genocide of our own. Then we make sure nothing goes wrong, Juno replied coldly. Execute the operation. At Vraxia Prime, the planetary defense grid was the most advanced in the galaxy. Thousands of satellites, hundreds of defense platforms, millions of sensors watching every approach to the planet. Nothing could get through undetected. That is what the Vraxians believed. Commander Sora's ship appeared suddenly in high orbit, using stolen cloaking technology that the Council did not know humans possessed. 12 more ships materialized around the planet in perfect formation. Every alarm in the Vraxian military command screamed at once. "Unknown vessels in orbit," a panicked officer shouted. "Weapons systems charging. They are preparing to fire on the surface." High Counselor Vrax ran to the command center, his heart pounding with fear. "Activate all defenses. Destroy them now." But nothing happened. The defense satellites did not fire. The platforms remained silent. Every weapons system on and around the planet was offline. Then came the broadcast. Juno's face appeared on every screen across Vraxia Prime. "People of Vraxia, this is Admiral Juno of Earth. 1 year ago, your leaders ordered the murder of 14 billion humans. Today we show you that we could do the same to you. Every defensive system you have is under our control. Every weapon you point at the stars answers to us now. We could destroy your world with a single command." The planet held its breath. "But we will not," Juno continued. "Because we are not you. We do not murder billions of innocents. We came here to show you one simple truth: you are not safe anymore. You will never be safe until you answer for what you did." The human ships vanished as suddenly as they appeared. 30 seconds later, all Vraxian defense systems came back online, functioning normally. But the message was clear. Humanity had held their most important world hostage and chosen mercy. At Chithin Central Hive, something even more devastating happened. Every computer system on the planet suddenly displayed the same message. Every screen, every device, every bit of technology that the Chithin relied on showed human control. For 24 hours, humanity had complete access to everything. Banking systems, communications, transportation, food distribution, water treatment, power generation. Everything that kept 8 billion Chithin alive was in human hands. The Chithin leadership waited in terror for humanity to shut everything down, to kill their entire civilization with the push of a button. Instead, the systems ran perfectly for 24 hours. More efficiently than the Chithin had ever run them. Food was distributed fairly. Water was purified better. Transportation ran on time. It was as if humanity was showing them how their own technology should work. After 24 hours, control was returned with a simple message: "We could have killed you all. We chose not to. Choose peace." At Lumini Capital, Ambassador Minji executed the most important strike. Not with weapons but with truth. She broadcast every secret council meeting for the past 20 years. Every corrupt deal, every lie told to member species, every manipulation of galactic law. She showed how the council had become tyrannical, how they punished species who became too successful, how humanity was not their first attempted genocide. The Lumini people, who valued truth above all else, saw their leaders exposed as liars and murderers. Protests erupted across their homeworld. The Lumini government fell within hours. A new Lumini government, led by Crystal Lise, who had helped Minji escape, immediately contacted humanity to negotiate peace. The psychological impact across the galaxy was total. The 3 most powerful civilizations had been humiliated without a single shot being fired in anger. The Council's authority was shattered beyond repair. But Juno had one more card to play. He called a galaxy-wide emergency broadcast and appeared before representatives of every civilization. For the past year, humanity has shown restraint we did not need to show. We could have destroyed Council worlds. We chose not to. But understand this clearly: humanity has prepared for total war. Behind him appeared images of massive weapons platforms hidden in deep space, aimed at every Council capital world. "These are relativistic kill vehicles," Juno explained calmly. "They travel at 90% light speed. They cannot be stopped or intercepted. Each one carries enough kinetic energy to destroy a planet. We have 40 of them, all aimed at Council worlds, all connected to a dead man's switch." He let that information sink in. If humanity falls, if even one more human world is attacked, these weapons launch automatically. The Council dies with us. This is not a threat. This is insurance. You tried to make us extinct. We ensure that if we go extinct, you go with us. The galaxy went silent with shock and horror. "But," Juno continued, his voice softening slightly, "we do not want mutual destruction. We want justice. We want peace. We want a galaxy where no species fears genocide from those stronger than them." He leaned forward, his eyes burning with intensity. The old Galactic Council is finished. What comes next is up to you. Choose wisely. The broadcast ended. Within 48 hours, every council member world began sending peace envoys to negotiate with humanity. The Vraxians, humbled by their vulnerability, sent their top diplomats. The Chieftain offered reparations and apologies. The new Lumini government proposed a complete restructuring of galactic governance. The Council had tried to eliminate humanity as a threat. Instead, they had forced humanity to become the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because humans were cruel or aggressive, but because they refused to die quietly. And now humanity held all the cards. 18 months after the betrayal, a new summit was called. But this time, the meeting was not held in the grand crystal chambers of Apex Prime. It was held on Luna Base, humanity's moon, rebuilt from the ashes of genocide. The Great Hall was simple compared to council architecture. The walls were made of lunar rock and steel, decorated with names. 3 billion names. Every human who died in the attack was listed here, carved into the wall so no one would ever forget. Ambassador Minji stood at the podium, no longer a prisoner or a fugitive, but the voice of humanity. Around her sat representatives from every major civilization in the galaxy. The Vraxians sat quietly, their proud scales now dulled with shame. The Chieftain clicked nervously, remembering their near starvation. The Lumini pulsed with somber colors, still processing their leader's betrayal of their own values. "Welcome to Luna," Minji began, her voice echoing through the chamber. "You are standing in a graveyard. 5 billion people died here in 6 hours. Look at these walls. Read these names. Remember what brought us to this moment." The alien delegates looked uncomfortable, but they looked. They read the names. They felt the weight of what their council had done. 18 months ago, you tried to eliminate humanity because you feared what we might become, Minji continued. You should have feared what you would force us to be. You turned peaceful explorers into warriors. You turned diplomats into soldiers. You created exactly what you were afraid of. High Counselor Vrax, older now and bearing the scars of a political fall from power, stood slowly. Ambassador Minji, the Vraxian people accept full responsibility for our role in the attack. We have brought a proposal for reparations. Reparations cannot bring back the dead, Minji replied. But they can help the living. What do you offer? Vrax laid out the terms. Full access to Vraxian technology. Resources to rebuild Earth, Mars and Luna. War crimes tribunals for those who planned and ordered the genocide. 20 years of labor assistance to reconstruct destroyed cities. The Chieftain representative stood next. The Chieftain Collective offers food production technology and biological assistance. We will help restore Earth's damaged ecosystems. We will feed your people while your world heals. The Lumini, represented by Crystal Lise, pulsed with sincere colors. We offer knowledge. Complete access to our historical archives, our scientific research, our medical advancements. And we offer something more important, friendship. Many Lumini died opposing this war. We wish to honor them by building peace. One by one, civilizations offered reparations, apologies, and assistance. But Minji knew this was not enough. These offers are appreciated, she said. But we need more than resources. We need structural change. The old Galactic Council failed because it allowed the powerful to bully the weak. It enabled genocide through majority vote. That system is broken beyond repair. Admiral Juno entered the chamber, still wearing his military uniform. Beside him walked Commander Sora, Science Officer Hyan, and representatives of the 200,000 soldiers who had fought the Shadow War. Humanity proposes a new system, Juno announced. A galactic alliance built on different principles. No species can be voted into extinction. Military action requires unanimous approval, not simple majority. Every member has equal voice regardless of size or power. And any member can leave freely without punishment. That is idealistic, a minor species representative said nervously. How do you enforce such rules? Juno's expression was hard. Humanity will enforce them. We have proven we can strike anywhere, anytime. We will be the sword that defends the weak from the strong. Not as conquerors but as peacekeepers. You want to become the new council, Vrax said carefully. No, Minji interrupted. We want to make sure there can never be another council like the old one. We want a galaxy where what happened to humanity cannot happen to anyone else. The delegates talked among themselves for hours. Some were suspicious of humanity's intentions. Others were grateful for a chance at redemption. Eventually they voted. The old Galactic Council was dissolved. The new Galactic Alliance was formed, with humanity as founding members and guarantors of its charter. War crimes tribunals began immediately. 53 council members were tried for genocide. 27 were imprisoned. The rest were stripped of power and exiled. Justice was slow, but it was real. The Vraxian military underwent complete reformation. Their warrior culture shifted from conquest to defense. Many Vraxians volunteered to help rebuild human worlds as penance. The Chieftain collective decentralized, giving more power to individual hives rather than the central hive. They became humanity's partners in agricultural science. The Lumini became humanity's closest allies, their love of logic finding kinship with human innovation and ethics. 5 years after the betrayal, Ambassador Minji stood in the new Earth orbital station, watching the planet below. The scars were still visible, cities still rebuilding, but life had returned. Green covered the burned lands. Oceans sparkled blue again. Humanity had survived. Admiral Juno stood beside her, older now and tired. "Do you think we did the right thing?" he asked quietly. "We did what we had to do," Minji replied. "We showed them that genocide has consequences. And we built something better from the ashes." Below them, in the station's garden level, children played together. Human children, Vraxian younglings, Chieftain larvae, and young Lumini all running through the plants, laughing in different languages but understanding each other perfectly. This was the future worth fighting for. On the memorial wall, beneath 3 billion names, a new inscription was carved: "Never again for any species." Humanity had been pushed to the edge of extinction. They had fought back with everything they had. They had shown the galaxy both their fury and their mercy. And in the end they had built something worth saving. The old Admiral Juno retired to a small house on the coast of restored Earth, haunted by the necessary violence he had commanded but at peace knowing it had purpose. Ambassador Minji became the first human Secretary-General of the Galactic Alliance, dedicating her life to making sure the treaties were honored and the peace was kept. The galaxy learned its lesson. Humanity was not just another species to be managed or eliminated. They were survivors, innovators, and above all, they never forgot. They never forgave genocide, but they offered a path to redemption through genuine change. 50 years later, historians would write about the Human Council War as the turning point in galactic civilization. The moment when might stopped making right. The moment when the strong learned to protect the weak instead of exploiting them. And it all started because one species refused to die quietly. Humanity had faced the full force of galactic power and not just survived but transformed the galaxy itself. The revenge was complete. Not through destruction but through creating a better universe.